In this lecture, we will learn about access control files in Linux. Access control files are used to configure, control, and determine which users or programs are allowed or denied to access certain services or actions on the system. Most of the access control files are stored under the /etc directory in Linux. We can see the content of this directory by executing ls/etc. In this lecture, we will focus on these three files. So we will explore the data stored in the /etc/password file, the /etc/shadow file, and finally the /etc/group file. We will start first of all with the content of the password file. Each line in the /etc/password file represents one account and contains 7 separated fields. First of all, we have the username. It is John here. It is used whenever the user wants to log in to the system. Then we have the password. It is X because it is stored in the /etc/shadow file. The /etc/password file doesn't store any sensitive data like passwords. Next, we find the UID and the GID of the user, which represent respectively the user ID and the user primary group ID that we saw in the previous lecture. For the geckos field, it is known also as the command field. It is used to store extra information about the user, such as the full name, the location, the phone number, etc., in a comma-separated format, and it is optional, so it can be blank. Next, we have the home directory, which is the user home directory that is used to store the personal files and setting of the user. And finally, the last file is the default shell for the user. In case of John here, the default shell is the bash shell. We will move now to the content of the /etc/shadow file. The /etc/shadow file stores this information. So first of all, we have the username. It is the same as the username stored in the password file that we have talked about previously. Next, we have the password field used for storing the encrypted password. If it is empty or set to an asterisk, that means that the password was never set for the user. Then we have the last changed field. It represents the number of days since January 1st, 1970, when the password was last changed. For the next two fields, which are the minimum age and the maximum age, they represent respectively the minimum number of days the user will have to wait before it is allowed to change the password again, and the maximum number of days the password is valid before the user will have to change the password. The word field is the number of days before password expiry and the user should be warned to change the password. Next, we have the inactive field, which indicates the number of days after password expiry before locking the account. It is optional, that's why it is empty here. And finally, for the expire field, it is the date of the expiration of the account, expressed as the number of days since January 1st, 1970. Finally, we will talk about the data stored in the /etc/group file, called also the group file. The group file is used to store basic information about the groups created on the system. These information are separated by a colon, similarly to the /etc/password and the /etc/shadow files. We have first of all the name of the group followed by the password field set to X, because if it is set, it is stored in the /etc/shadow file. The next field is the GID of the group. And finally, for the last field, it contains the members of the group separated by a comma. So that's all about these access control files. I hope that everything is clear, and thank you very much.